When you're inside an abusive relationship, you can't see it clearly. You can't see what's actually happening to you. You're too close, too involved, too convinced that this is normal, that this is love, that this is just how relationships are. But from the outside, once you've escaped, once you have distance and perspective, the truth becomes undeniable. And that truth changes everything. Today, I want to talk about what you can only see from the outside. The truths about abuse that are invisible when you're living it. The first truth is that it was never about you. When you're inside it, you believe it's your fault. If you were just better, calmer, more understanding, less needy, it would stop. You think you're provoking it, causing it. That if you could just figure out the right way to be, the abuse would end. You take responsibility for their behavior because they've convinced you it's caused by your inadequacy. But from the outside, you see the truth. It was never about you. It was always about them. About their need for control. Their inability to regulate their emotions. Their deep insecurity that they manage by dominating you. You could have been perfect, and it still would have happened. Because abuse isn't a response to your behavior. It's a pattern of their character. The problem was never you. The problem was always them. And seeing that from the outside releases you from years of self-blame. The second truth you only see from the outside is how much you lost. When you're in it, you're focused on holding on making it work, on surviving day to day. You don't notice how much you're giving up, how many friends have drifted away, how many dreams you've abandoned, how much of yourself you've sacrificed. It happens so gradually, you don't see the accumulation of loss. But from the outside, you see it clearly. You lost yourself, your confidence, your voice, your joy, your independence, your sense of safety, your connection to the people who loved you. You gave up so much trying to make someone happy who is incapable of being satisfied. And seeing the scope of that loss from the outside, it takes your breath away. But it also shows you what you're reclaiming now. Everything you lost, you're getting back, piece by piece. And it's worth every difficult step of recovery. The third truth is that the good times were part of the abuse. When you're inside it, you cling to the good moments. The times they were sweet. The times they apologized. The times it felt like love. And you use those moments as proof that they can change. That the relationship is worth saving. That the real them is the good version, not the bad one. But from the outside, you see those good times differently. They weren't proof of love. They were part of the cycle. They were strategic. Just enough kindness to keep you hooked. Just enough affection to make you question whether it's really that bad. Just enough hope to keep you from leaving. The good times weren't separate from the abuse. They were part of it. They were the bait. And seeing that from the outside helps you understand why it was so hard to leave. You weren't weak. You were being deliberately manipulated. The fourth truth you only see from the outside is how isolated you became. When you're in it, the isolation feels normal, maybe even necessary. You don't see certain friends anymore because they don't understand. You don't talk to family because it's easier to avoid their questions. You stop doing things you love because it causes conflict. And you accept this as natural, as what happens in serious relationships. But from the outside, you see it was intentional. The isolation wasn't natural. It was engineered. Cut off from support, you had no one to reality check what was happening. No one to remind you of who you were before. No one to help you leave. The isolation kept you trapped. And seeing that from the outside makes you protective of your connections now. You understand that healthy love doesn't separate you from the people who care about you. It connects you more deeply to everyone who matters. The fifth truth is that you are stronger than you knew. When you're inside it, you feel weak. You can't believe you're accepting this. You wonder what's wrong with you that you can't just leave. You feel pathetic for staying, for believing the promises, for going back. You see yourself as broken, as failing. But from the outside, you see your strength. You survived something that was designed to break you. You endured emotional warfare and came out the other side. You protected your core self even while parts of you were being destroyed. You found the courage to leave when leaving felt impossible. You rebuilt your life from nothing. That wasn't weakness. That was incredible strength. And you only see it clearly from the outside. From the place where you can look back at what you survived and recognize yourself as a survivor, not a victim. The final truth you only see from the outside is that leaving was the beginning, not the end. When you're inside it, you think leaving will destroy you, that you can't survive without them, that life outside this relationship is impossible. You're terrified that leaving is the end of everything. But from the outside, you see the truth. Leaving wasn't the end. It was the beginning of getting yourself back, the beginning of peace, the beginning of learning what real love looks like, the beginning of a life where you're not constantly afraid, where you can breathe, where you can be yourself. Leaving was the moment your real life started. Everything you have now, every moment of peace, every authentic connection, every bit of joy, it all became possible because you left. From the outside, you see that leaving wasn't loss. It was liberation. These are the truths you can only see from the outside. It was never about you. You lost so much. The good times were part of the abuse. The isolation was intentional. You were stronger than you knew. And leaving was the beginning of everything. If you're still inside, I know you can't see these truths yet, but they're there, waiting for you on the other side. And when you finally get outside, when you finally have the distance to see clearly, you'll understand. And that understanding will set you free. Thank you for being here. If this resonated, share it with someone who needs to see it. And subscribe to Wisdom from Today to Then. The truth is waiting for you on the outside.